Hi guys, and welcome back to Devlog 5 of Ruinborne. So I've got some video footage of the game currently in progress. I'm going to try out a new style for the devlogs where I split everything that's new into their own categories. So while I voice over and talk and just blabber on, I hope you enjoy the background gameplay. So a lot has changed. It's been over a month, I think, since the last video. Might be even longer. And a lot has been done. So some of the stuff that, has been done that is going to completely gobsmack you is a few new tools that I'm using. So one of them being Armour Painter, Blender, and a few other small little things that I've built myself, as well as using Wiki.js to sort of, document the game, because there's going to be a lot of items, there's going to be a lot of stuff, considering I kind of want to get to that Terraria level of, items. But I'm going to go over a few things in a new format. I hope you enjoy them, and I hope the game is somewhat more interesting now, rather than what it was before. But as you can see, the gameplay is a little bit more refined now. There's now a HUD with working health and enemies dying and spawning items. I've done a few things in the world generation. I've done a few things with the items. I've implemented things like Hitboxes and Hurtboxes, some server-side effects, some jumping, and even the lock-on system, and just a bunch of quality of life stuff. But I hope you enjoy the video, and I hope you enjoy all the new content that has been added, and we'll see in the rest of the video. This is another tool that I've been using. It's called Armour Painter. It's essentially Adobe Substance Painter, but free and works on Linux. So the workflow that I do is I go to Blender, I export an FBX, and then I import it. And as you can see, this iron ingot is something that I made. It has one material, and I kind of just paste it on. So the node system works very similar to ShaderGraft and shaders, where you kind of just drag and drop the node paths in it. I've gotten some assets free from itch and that. As you can see in this one, I've gotten two materials. I've gotten these assets for free from things that I bought and use. And then, it just allows me to essentially speed up the workflow and do some of this stuff myself rather than relying on artists to do it all the time. So hopefully I can get a lot more items in the game up quicker, because why not? It also means I don't use AI slop, which I kind of don't want to. But definitely recommend checking this tool out. So on to the next thing, the items. As you can see, this is kind of what the item looks like. It's just an item or whatever inside it with the item name inside a circle. The items will bob up and down, which I'll show in a second in the in-game video, I guess. So we'll quickly launch the game. Here we go. So as you can see, all the items are kind of currently dropped. You can see the circles change color based on the rarity of the item, and they bob up and down. If you hover over them, it shows the name. I'm looking at possibly changing some of these things around, maybe possibly that it will auto pick up rather than you having to hover and press E on them. These are all a work in progress, so we don't know exactly yet. But as you can see, the items have a green outline if they're a uncommon or a common, being grey, so those change. You can see these are the things that I showed in the Armour Painter, where I painted some materials, brought them in, exported the textures and whatnot. Same for the wood over there, so let me just quickly pick up everything. But yeah, as you can see, like the glow outline is based on the rarity, so I'll just quickly pick up all these. The woods and copper, items are going to have variations in rarity, but as you can see, if I drop an item that has a blue outline, it's going to show a blue thing on there. So I will more than likely change quite a lot about the thumbnails, because they don't always fit perfectly. But that being said, there's still a lot of dev work to be done for them, but they're coming along. So one of the things I love about early development is that you can kind of break things. And as you can see, I'm playing baseball. But as you can see, I kind of launch them all the time. It's still a work in progress, but each individual item will have their own knockback force, so we can see some that will have no knockback and some that might send them flying. It's all up in the air. So this is Jake, or me if you want to call it. And on me I have a bunch of white boxes, a purple box and a blue box. Now the white boxes are actually just the hitboxes for the player, and the purple is also a hitbox, but it is a critical hitbox. So these ones will do multiple multiplications on the damage that you receive. So depending on the type of hitbox that gets hit, you'll notice that it does more damage. So here is just the way that I've done it. I've attached some objects to a bone, and then those have a script on them that lets me set, whether it's the player or whether it's an enemy, and whether it's a normal or a critical. And then I can also do multiple overrides for the damage that they could possibly receive. Now, if I quickly go find the item, this one, nope, sorry, not that one, the other one, my two-hander. You'll notice that this one has a blue square on it as well. This is the Hurtbox. This is what actually does the damage. So depending on the enemy, depending on the hitbox that it actually hits, the Hurtbox and the hitbox, they both need to collide for it to actually do damage. If they don't collide, then it doesn't do any damage, and it doesn't really do anything, it just swings. But pretty much every item will have one. So I've completely refactored some of my generation for my terrain. And one of the things that I was doing before was doing a bunch of octaves with noises and trying to get this really nice and complex canyon mountain system. I chose to get rid of that and just go with a more simple approach. I have a noise and then I have a curve, and depending on the noise is how high the height map is. So it's very straightforward now. It's a hell of a lot quicker, and it just does what I wanted to do. So as you can see, it makes cliffs a lot easier to do. It also gives a little bit more, natural feel to it, and a little bit more control. Now, one of the things I did as well is I kind of optimized the way the objects were placed. They do have similar settings to before, but I'll quickly just turn the density down on these, which is here. That will turn it, you can't turn them off because then you may as well delete them, so I put it down to a minimum of 0.1. But as you can see, when I regenerate them, it has lovely little amounts of tree. But forgive the pillars, those are for enemy spawning. Those are still up in the air on how I'm going to do enemies, but for now they're just a proximity thing to the player, and they'll spawn enemies. And as you can see, the foliage now also has little rocks, little trees, which just work wonders. The next system I kind of want to talk about is how I do lock-ons. So playing the game, melee is pretty hard. So if you've ever played Elden Ring, I kind of took inspiration from that. So if you press caps lock, which keys can be remapped eventually, or E or Q to switch left and right, you'll be able to lock onto a target, which kind of points the player to that target and keeps them on point. And the last thing now is the UI. So you've most probably seen in previous videos that I have a UI down the bottom there, and you can see that the purple is kind of like a representation of a shield, the red are health, the white your your stam, and your green bar your XP, and then the one on the right is supposed to be mana, but I haven't implemented that yet. So what I'm doing is I'm standing in a damage bubble and lowering my health and my shield, and you'll notice that there's passive regen, so you should see that thing go up. But this is the inventory. I think I've shown this already before, so it's nothing really new, but I've added in control clicks and right clicks to quickly equip stuff. As you can see, I can walk around and all that, and then here I can just drop items on the floor and they kind of just drop on the floor. Obviously you can pick them up, you've already seen that and stuff, but it's slowly getting there. The system is slowly getting better and better, but overall the UI, it exists. It may be crap, but it's there, and it'll get better. So I'm going to leave with some final gameplay notes and some enemies, items and whatnot. The genre is kind of up in the air. It's a very, very specific lore that I'm trying to develop behind this game. But the lore kind of leaves it open-ended to what genre this is. So it can have fantasy, sci-fi, dark horror. It's kind of going to have everything. There's not going to be a very specific theme. Kind of like how Terraria starts off very placid and very, medieval, then goes into shooting laser beams to world-ending nukes. I'm kind of going down the same approach of just absolute carnage. But there is going to be lots of different enemies, there is going to be lots of different items, and there is going to be a lot of different things that I'm planning to do. I don't really have a roadmap for that yet, but eventually I will. But if you are enjoying the content and you are enjoying the devlogs that I'm producing, please subscribe, give us a like and a comment, and tell me what you think. Feel free to tell me an enemy idea or something like that. Feel free to pitch in. As I said, this game is everything when it comes to genre, so there's no wrong answer. But I hope you've enjoyed Devlog 5 of Ruinborne, and I hope to see you next time.